Bonjour, tout le monde. Bienvenue au Learning Language. Aujourd'hui, nous allons apprendre à prononcer les voyelles combinées en français. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Learning Language. Today, we will learn about how to pronounce combined vowels in French. So, in the part 1 video, we learned about vowels. Okay. Now, a very fundamental property of a French vowel is that the sound often depends very much on what consonant happen to be next. So, here, the role changes differently. The second part of the video, where we will learn about or understand the pronunciation of combined vowels in French. So, whenever two vowels come together, there is a slight change in the pronunciation. Although there is a change of pronunciation due to the few French accents and special characters also, which we will be covering in the next video, and which will be going to be the part 3 of pronunciation of French vowels. Post that, this series will be complete. Okay, now let's move to combined videos. Okay, now first tell me how many vowels we have. We have 6 vowels, right? So the 6 vowels are there: a, e, o, u, y. So let's start with a. So you can see there are 3 possible cases of a. A can come along with I, ai, or au, or eau, and ail. So ai and ei have the similar pronunciation. Similarly, au or eau have similar pronunciation. So let's move to the first one, which is ai and ei. So it will be pronounced as a. Ai or ei, it is a. Let's take some example. So the example of ai is faire, mais, and ei is says, fac, mais, says. So now you can have a look that N and M are present. Okay. So certain vowels change slightly when followed by N or M. So the proximity of N or M creates a very special situation, so which will be discussed. Okay. Now in these cases, sound come from nose. That is why it is called as nasalized vowels. Certain places it is called as nasal vowels. Some people called it nasalized vowels. Okay. So whenever there is an addition of N or M post combined vowels, there is a change in the pronunciation which comes from nose. So let's take some example. Okay, now the first example is pont, where N is added after AI. Another one is pont, where M is added after AI. Pont, pont. So now, did you notice how the pronunciation changes by adding N or M? Okay. Now, AU or EAU, of them have the same pronunciation. Both are pronounced like O in the English word boat. Okay. So let's take an example in French. For un gâteau. gâteau. So for another possibility for A is AIL. It is pronounced as I. I. The example is also I, which means garlic. Okay. Now let's move to the another vowel. There are three possible cases of E. EAU, which we have already discussed with the A possibilities. EU or OEU, then ER, ET, EZ, or EIL. Let's discuss one by one. EU or OEU. The pronunciation is like I, but with lips rounded to produce an O sound. Okay. Now example is Inuk, Inuk, Lasyok, Lasyok. Now the third possibility of vowel E is ER or ET or EZ or EIL. So ER can be pronounced like A. For example, Amy. ET is only. So let's come to another vowel now. There are four possible cases with O. OEU, OU, OI, OUI. So we will discuss all of them one by one. We have just discussed OEU. Okay. Move to OU. OU pronounced like O in English, like the English word root. Okay. Now let's take an example. So here is an example on OU. Pinocchio. Foo. OI. OI pronounced like the combination of OA or WAH or WA. So different people use it differently, but the pronunciation is like wa. So let's take some example. Toi, roi, le poisson. So these are the examples of OI. Okay. Now let's move to the last one. This is OUI, which is also known as oui, which means yes in French. Let's move to another vowel. So in the last vowel, there's no much difference. There are two possible cases, UE, which is known as U, then UI, which is known as we. Okay. Now that was all about combined vowels today. I just gave you a small brief about nationalized vowels. Okay, in the part 3, we will come up with a few French accents and special characters, which will give you a complete picture about the how the pronunciation is changes entirely when you are having a vowel or when vowels are combined and when there are accents on vowels. So you will get complete information about it. So that's why I have added them as in series, part 1, part 2, part 3. I hope that's it all for today. Thank you so much. If you like the content of the video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. And keep watching Learning Language. Stay tuned.